this sort of what I think is the worst pandemic, this sense of victimhood is coming and rising to the top. And it's a danger to our society today. You're seeing it right now, unfortunately. This woke culture trying to sort of inflict their views on other people who can't have a dissenting opinion. And it's killing the dialogue. And you've got the victims now becoming the majority. And when victims become the majority, you see the certain, the cancel culture coming around. Being a warrior is about a mindset, not carrying a gun. There's a difference between war fighters and warriors. They're not necessarily mutually exclusive, but all the people I served with in the military were not warriors. In fact, the abundance of them were war fighters, but just lacked a mindset. There are some bad narratives out there. The sense of people telling others that they have so little because somebody else has so much. And that's just not true. Behind success, there is stories and trials and tribulation and resiliency, and people had to earn the right to where they're at and what they have, whether that's possessions, happiness, whatever it may be. Another form of victimhood is entitlement. You're entitled to free money from the government. You're entitled to this, or we should take from somebody else to give you more. And that is the ultimate victim mentality. It's saying, I have no control over my life. Another part of victimhood is this fixed mindset. I am who I am, and I can't improve. So it's someone else's fault. We take a hit at social media. There's great things about social media, but there are also some bad things. And one of those bad things is everyone has a microphone. And, what we've seen with victimhood is social media, in a way, promotes victimhood. What people don't understand is there's a difference between victimhood and vulnerability. And vulnerability is one of the most admirable traits any warrior can have. But when somebody does it time and time again, and they get this attention of, oh, poor you, and you deserve better, it's not your fault. Well, that becomes addictive because they're getting attention in a negative way. And so they become addicted to that victimhood and the attention that it gets them. The sort of affirmation that, hey, nothing is within their control, that they can remain lazy, that they don't have to take the hard steps to turn their lives over. You look at the public education, our kids are not being taught attributes or how to lead or accountability or discipline. They're not being taught those things. Instead, they're being taught things, again, that reinforce that they're victims and that they aren't in control of their circumstances. The problem is us. It's my generation. It's not the kids. It's being forced upon them. I talk about 11 principles I learned from these warriors. One of which the Marine Corps and the U.S. Army teach as one of the foundations of leadership is set the example. When we see leadership at its worst, where it should be at its best, the National Capital Region, Washington, D.C., they are setting a poor example for the next generation to follow. There's close to zero accountability amongst our national leaders. It's no surprise when the work habits of the younger generation are different. We're not creating a generation of warriors, everyday warriors within their respective professions. Instead, we're creating victims who think they're entitled to certain things and that nothing is their fault. We need to look heavily at our education system. We need to look heavily at our families on what we're teaching our children and preparing them to face the challenges, which are probably going to be more steep and severe than what we've faced, but preparing them to answer those challenges and drive America forward into the next century. Hard choices lead to an easy life. Easy choices lead to an unmemorable life that nobody would want to read about. How do you climb a mountain? One step at a time. How do you build a business? One brick at a time. How do you change your life? One day at a time. So don't expect to be in a bad space and then, expect changes overnight. That's not going to happen. Take it one day at a time, one step at a time, and incrementally expose yourself to change. Incrementally expose yourself to discomfort, things that make you uneasy, things that give you anxiety, like if it's speaking in front of people. And before you know it, after a year, you're going to look back and you're going to see how many steps you've taken, how many victories you've incurred, failure that you've learned from, and your life will be in a better position. But nobody can help you but you.